Hey everyone! Today we're going to talk about a document that you've probably seen 100 times, but maybe just kind of skipped over. It's usually attached to a company's financial statements, and it's full of this dense, formal language. But here's the secret. It holds the key to knowing if a company is telling you the truth about its money or just telling you a really good story. We are talking about the Independent Auditor's Report. So just imagine this for a second. A company you're following, maybe you want to invest, maybe you want to work there. They drop their annual report, and it looks amazing. Sales are through the roof, profits are soaring, everything's golden. But you get that little nagging question in the back of your head, right? How do I really know these numbers are legit? How can I be sure they haven't gotten a little creative with the books? Well, that is exactly where this report comes in. It's not just an answer to that question, it's really the answer. You got to think of it like a seal of approval, an independent professional verdict on whether the company's financial story is actually credible. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate trust signal. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get into the billion-dollar question. Why does this report even exist? Then we're going to take a peek under the hood at its main parts. The real secret sauce is in the auditor's verdict, and I'm going to show you exactly what to look for. Then we'll clear up who's responsible for what, because that gets confusing. And finally, we'll pull it all together to show you why this really matters. So first things first, why do we even need this thing? I mean, seriously. Well, try to imagine a world without it. Companies could just say whatever they wanted about their performance. Investors wouldn't have a clue who to trust. Banks wouldn't know who to lend money to. The entire system really needs an unbiased referee to come in and check the facts. And that's its whole reason for being, which is actually spelled out in the International Standards on Auditing. You can think of those as the global rulebook for this stuff. The report is all about adding credibility. It makes sure that when you're comparing a company in the US to one in Germany or Japan, you know their books have been checked against the same high standards. And that consistency, well, that's what keeps the whole global marketplace running. All right, let's pop the hood and see what's inside. You can think of an auditor kind of like a home inspector. They don't build the house, but they are the ones who come in and check everything with a fine-tooth comb to make sure the foundation is solid. This report is basically their final inspection summary, and it's always laid out in a very specific way. Now, those global standards require the report to be super clear. You'll pretty much always find these 4 key sections, and usually in this exact order. It kicks off with the big conclusion, the opinion, and then it walks you through how they got there. And we're going to start right where they do, with the single most important part. And I'm not kidding here. If you only have 10 seconds to look at this thing, spend them right here. The auditing standards actually mandate that the auditor's opinion has to be the very first section. They don't bury the lead. The final verdict, the big takeaway, it's right there, front and center. Okay, so you've found the opinion section. This is the moment of truth. The auditor has spent weeks, maybe even months, digging through the company's books. So, what did they find? And what are the magic words you are hoping to see? This right here is the golden phrase. When you read that the statements, present fairly in all material respects, you can basically breathe a sigh of relief. This is the auditor's way of saying, yep, we've checked the numbers, we've kicked the tires, and this gives you a true and fair picture of what's going on. Now, in auditor speak, this clean bill of health has a name. It's called an unmodified opinion. And as you can see from the official definition, it just means the auditor concluded that the financial statements follow all the rules and are presented fairly in all the ways that really matter. This is what you want to see. It's the best possible outcome. But what if you don't see those magic words? Well, the alternative is something called a modified opinion. And let me tell you, that is a major red flag. It means one of 2 things happened. Either the auditor actually found significant errors, what they call material misstatements, or they were prevented from getting the evidence they needed to form a clear opinion. Either way, it's the auditor basically yelling, hey, proceed with caution here. Now, what's really fascinating here is how they define what's material. You might think it's just about a big dollar amount, but it's not. The official standard defines it by its impact. A mistake is material if it's big enough that it could actually change the decisions of someone reading the report, someone like you. Okay, this brings us to a super common point of confusion. Who actually does what in this whole process? Did the auditor write the financial statements? Let's get this straightened out right now. And this table just illustrates the division of labor perfectly. Look, it's management's job to actually prepare the financial statements and to design systems to prevent errors. They also have to assess if the company can stay in business, what's called a going concern. The auditor's job?
totally separate. They just come in to express an opinion, to get that assurance, and to use their professional judgment. Remember that home inspector analogy? Management builds the house, the auditor just inspects it.
And notice that term reasonable assurance. The auditors provide a high level of assurance, but it is not an absolute guarantee. The standards are really clear about this. An audit is designed to reduce the risk of errors down to a very low level, but it can't eliminate it completely. Really sophisticated, well-hidden fraud can sometimes slip by. It's high assurance, but it's not perfect certainty.
So let's bring this all home. We've taken apart the report, we've defined the tricky language, and we've clarified who does what. So why should you, whether you're an investor, an employee, or even just a customer, actually care about this piece of paper? It matters because this report is probably your single best tool for cutting through all the company hype. It's your trust signal, that independent stamp of approval. It's a financial health check, giving you a professional's take on the company's integrity. And at the end of the day, it's a decision tool that helps you make smarter, more informed choices.
So the crucial point is this. When you zoom all the way out, you realize the independent auditor's report is so much more than just a bureaucratic checkbox. It's really a cornerstone of the trust that allows our entire global economy to function.
And there you have it. You now have the secret to unlocking one of the most powerful yet overlooked documents in the business world. So the next time you see one, the question really isn't if you'll read it, but what will you look for first?